Well, that is more like it. An historic day for the Toronto Raptors on Pascal Siakam's 27th birthday. They beat the Golden State Warriors 130-77. You heard that right. A 53-point win, the largest margin of victory in franchise history. The Raps record now 19-30 on the season. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Raptors Night Cap. Randy Urban alongside Sherman Hamilton, Paul Jones, and Leo Rautins. Guys, sometimes the ball just drops the way you want it. Not much going wrong for the Raptors tonight. Jonesy?
Well, it's one of those nights. We talk about, the old, and it's not a long-distance phone code, 10-10-62. 10 nights when you're going to lose no matter what you do. You can't do anything right. And this was one of the others, the 10 nights that you're going to win no matter what happened. I mean, they scored 46 points in the third quarter. Golden State had 42 in the first half. And it was the largest margin, largest lead ever in franchise history. You get a night like that, and everybody says, "Oh, bottle it. Why can't you play like that all the time?" You can't. You just have to be very, very careful that you take the win, but don't expect this all the time.
This was a bit more enjoyable for you tonight, Leo.
I think it was more enjoyable for everybody, right? It was one of those games where, hey, you know what? You can say, hey, they didn't have this guy, didn't have that guy. Well, there's a lot of games the Raptors didn't have this guy or that guy. And sometimes you just need a game like this. Okay, you just need it. And it also sends the point of what happens when you don't have guys. And I think Raptor fans need to take a look at that. You take Curry, Draymond Green out of the mix, and look what happens. Well, you took Pascal, you took OG, you took Fred out of the mix. Look what happened. So, I mean, I think you got to be very cognizant of that. But I'll tell you what impressed me in this game is the Raptors, obviously, they came out rolling. They did a good job. But they never relaxed defensively. I mean, they just went after it. Remember, Andrew Wiggins came out, and this was a game in the first quarter. And Andrew Wiggins was a big reason this was a game in the first quarter. After the first quarter, he scored 4 points. That was it. Non-factor in the second half. 0 points in the second half. And that just tells you, I mean, what this team is capable of doing. And they realized the one guy that was the factor, and they took him out of the game, and they were able to just roll. So it was a good one. It was a much needed night for the Raptors.
Sherm, you ever been in a game like that? And how'd you see this one?
I've been in a game where, everything my team did worked. I've been in a game where everything my team didn't work. So I've experienced both sides of it. But I will say this game was one of those, feel-good games. The Raptors had been on the other end of not maybe this kind of a beatdown, but significant beatdowns in situations where they were supposed to win. So the fact that they got a chance to experience this, it's great for morale. Everybody chipped in, everybody got to play, and the minutes were flying and guys were having fun. And you saw them play with a lot of joy. Their leaders played well. Their bench played well. Everybody got a little something out of this game, which is a very necessary thing at this time. But guys, I'm concerned about Fred. I mean, he leaves this game and he has that injury, and it's one of those things where not now. I mean, this is their chance to make a push for the play-in game to try to squeeze to get into the playoffs. You need Fred, especially if Kyle is gone for 7 to 10 days. You definitely need Fred. So I'm hoping that he's not too banged up and he's able to get back to the floor as quickly as possible, because we talk about Golden State missing key players. What happens? Well, you miss Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, Jonesy, I saw you wanted to elaborate on that. I know.
No,
go ahead.
I was saying, as to Sherm's point, you just hope the win's not costly. It was a feel-good win. They'd had a tough month of March. I mean, let's face it. It's the first game in April, and they've won as many games in April as they have in March. And, we always talk about you can't get 5 or 6 until you get one. Well, they got one tonight. They got it in an emphatic way. As Sherm said, guys are feeling good. You want to take this forward, but it's tough to do that. And the funny thing was, it's tough to do that without Fred. And the funny thing was, Fred sat on the bench for a lot of the first half. Things were going so well in that second quarter. It was as if Nick Nurse said, hang on, let's take some of your minutes off. You take it easy here. Let this run go by these guys and see how far it goes before I need you. And sure enough, when he comes back into the game, he suffers the injury. So you just hope that it's nothing serious. We did see him in the tunnel greeting the guys as they came up, and a lot of them, mouthing, you okay, and he was kind of nodding. So, hopefully it's nothing that's going to keep him out of the lineup for a long time.
Leo, you mentioned it on the television broadcast that could be something that's, pretty low impact, and that could be something that nags. Have you had experience with this one?
Well, hip flexors are tough, right? I mean, it can be, take a couple of days, do some treatment, this and that, and you're good on Monday. Or it could be a week, 2 weeks. I mean, those, when you start hearing, hamstring tear or a hamstring pull, high ankle sprain, a hip flex, you start going, okay, those aren't very clearly defined, and it becomes a little scary. And as Sherman pointed out, I mean, you don't have Kyle, if you don't have Fred, well, you got problems. So you got to hope that whatever it is, it's mild, and the Raptors training staff, which is exceptional, can do something about it. But if I'm not mistaken, Rodney Hood, he's out with a hip flexor or hip strain. So I don't know exactly what the difference may be on that, but it's causing him to miss games. So we'll have to hope it's not that bad.
Well, Sherm, with that, I thought Malachi Flynn had a breakout game tonight. What did you think of his performance?
I thought he looked good. I thought he did some good things out there. And you guys heard on the broadcast, Nick talked about it, the fact that he wanted Malachi to be more aggressive, get into the paint, be more of a downhill player instead of just settling for the shot, because he can get that shot anytime he wants. So it was good to see him mix it up. It was good to see him play extended minutes. And I thought he made some really good decisions. When you're blowing a team out, one thing you don't want as a coach to have your players start to do things that aren't successful things. Don't get into those bad habits and start to make plays that aren't going to be there when you're in a very tight game and you're required to make the right play. So he played the right way, and I like that about him. But defensively, this young man, he's got some really good instincts, and he's got a good feel on the defensive end. He's got good feet. He's got active hands, but he has that forward thinking defensively, get to that spot, know where players are going, and he has the angles to play and get there. So he's pretty impressive on that side of the ball. And we'll look at his offense, but I saw his defense and I was like, this guy has a chance to be very good defending his position.
He's a former defensive player of the year in college in his conference. And that award does not come lightly. And defense is one of those things. It's a measure of effort. And when you give me, I've always said this, you give me a kid who wants to play defense, they'll work on their offense and you're going to have a complete player. And, he's also got great role models in front of him. When you think about Kyle and Fred, guys that are also small in stature, but don't play like their height. They play bigger than their height. They take things personally. They're dogged. They're fierce. They're perseverant on the defensive end. And, the difference tonight for Malachi was he was able to make some shots. These are shots that he's getting. I think he's doing a good job running the offense. I think he's doing a good job, looking for his own scoring within the offense. He's just not knocking down the shots with regularity. And I thought he did that tonight, but he has continued to look more and more comfortable, not just running the team, but distributing the ball and looking for his own offense, all phases of running the team, Randall, as this thing wears on.
Well, Leo, speaking of comfortable, we got to talk about the birthday boy, because I thought Pascal Siakam really set the tone for the team offensively. And it's a trend now. When he's aggressive, he has a better game.
Yeah. And what did the Raptors do early on? They didn't come out jacking up threes. They came out going, scoring in the paint. And Pascal was the primary factor in that regard. And you could see when he's attacking like that, sometimes he just looks so smooth and comfortable. And I thought, today he had great balance. Every movie he attacked with, he had good balance. He went in strong. And you could see as he was feeling better and he had a good rhythm going, that's when you step out, you start knocking down a three or two, and you just play that good game. I also thought he worked defensively. I mentioned, like the times he was on Andrew Wiggins after that first quarter. I mean, he was digging in, right? He was playing hard, and that's important. So you have to hope that, whatever this hurdle they're all, trying to overcome with COVID, conditioning, just, general, malaise that you can feel and having to go through that illness and everything. You're hoping that he can rebound from that. And if today is an opportunity to see that, maybe a foreshadowing of things to come, that would be great for the Raptors.
Well, you think of Pascal, 6 of his 10 points in that first quarter came in the paint. He was downhill from the jump. And I thought OG was very good as well, attacking, doing it a bit different way, more of a physical approach, knocking bodies out of the way and trying to lay it in. But again, when the collective intent is to attack, and you look at this team for the Golden State Warriors, no Draymond Green, no Steph Curry, and although Steph's not a paint defender, you're supposed to get into that paint and you're supposed to dominate. And I thought they did a great job executing that, led by Pascal and OG in the first quarter.
Randall, I thought Gary Trent Jr. did a nice job too.
Really fitting in well.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Randy. And I was going to say that he looks like he's becoming more and more comfortable. And we've talked about this, and it's been said consistently. You play with Lillard, McCollum, Carmelo Anthony. Sometimes you have to wait for your turn with the ball, and you have to know where your shots are coming from and pick your spots. And he comes to Toronto, and there's Lowry and Van Vliet, but there's also the forward thinking of Nick Nurse that says, you're okay. We want you to do that. You're replacing a guy in Norman Powell that was able to do that. And boy, he just continues to look more and more comfortable, calm. Things look like they're slowing down a little bit for him. Making shots tonight, running the wing on the break, sidestep threes with escape dribbles. He just looks more and more comfortable. And again, if he's able to pick up his defense, he's going to be a solid two-way player for them. And this is the time. The Raptors, they got one. Start to make a run now. See if you can string 3 wins together. Win 4 out of 5. Win, 6 out of 8. Do that to kind of climb back into the running for one of those spots in the play-in games. Or who knows, with lots of runway left, you could get up as high as 6.
Well, we got to leave it there, guys. Good stuff as always. And Leo, just one more thing. How many would you have had tonight? Because at one point, the Raps were up 60.
Hey, if you don't know that I would have had at least 3 or 4 glasses of wine, then you don't know me.
I was hoping for points there, but that works.
Oh,
I know Sherman would have still tried to get off the bench. Sherman, I'm kidding. Sherman, I'm kidding.
Oh,
unbelievable, man.
That's just wrong.
If the Raptors keep winning, are we going to have to put up with this from you, Randy?
Yeah, this is going to be constant for sure.
Oh, man.
All right. I appreciate you guys joining me. We'll see you next time. Monday nights in the Raptors' next game, 7 p.m. against the Wizards. See you then.
Thanks for watching. You can click to watch our last episode or to subscribe to the Toronto Raptors YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode.